A story is simply something you tell yourself over and over until it becomes a truth. And the story can be, I have tried this for years. It never works. The story can be, listen, in my family, we are all overweight. Eh? Yes, we're big people. Me, I had a story where saying, I can't do push-ups. I'm weak. And our upper body is weak. Me, that is, imagine scholar. Can you imagine? But I was able to do some concept 6 weeks in training. Hey, girl! In fact, even I was shocked at myself. But now the goal is to, zile unaenda chini mpaka it look like you're doing. That's the goal. And still December 6th. That's the goal. Okay. So this is the beliefs. These are the stories that we tell ourselves. This, believe it or not, is what runs our life. And there's someone who said, if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. And so mindset for me is critical, because what you think and what you say is what's going to come out from you. And then finally, here, your identity. Your identity. Over everything that you're going to do, it's truly who you believe you are as a human being. Notice, this goes all the way up. This is the stuff that's on the inside. This is the stuff that no one sees. This is the stuff nobody hears. This is the stuff, the identity. It's who you truly know deep down in your core that you are. And I could come and tell you, girl, you could lose weight. Girl, you're gonna, what do you want? You want to make $1 million by the end of the year? Like, yeah. And they'll be like, if on the inside nothing in you believes, it will not happen. And so your identity and being clear about who you are is what's going to help you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back so that you can be able to identify a couple of things that may have shaped the way you think about yourself and or the way you think about your food, okay? So I have a couple of questions for you. As a child, were you ever praised or punished when it came to eating or when it came to your body as a child? Just write that down. As a child, were you ever praised or punished when it came to eating for your body? What's your earliest childhood memory of your body? What's your earliest childhood memory when you think about your body? What was your favorite food from your childhood and how did it make you feel? I've given you my story of my chapo. What was your earliest favorite food from your childhood and how did it make you feel? Did anyone ever tell you that traditional foods were unhealthy or poor people's food? Did anyone ever tell you that traditional foods were unhealthy or poor people's food? And how did this affect you? If your younger self saw you now, how would she feel about how you talk to yourself about your body and how you feed it? What did you learn directly or indirectly about what it means to be a good woman or a beautiful woman? This story is about my aunt. My aunt, so remember I told you we have a huge family. So on one of my grandfather's side, one home, I helped her with her weight loss in 2020. I was helping her on her weight loss journey. And as I was helping her on her journey, she actually, these questions that I'm asking you, same questions I asked her, and something clicked. She talked about how as a young girl, she's the one who used to cook food for the family. She's the one who would wake up in the morning. I want you to imagine, go back to Shags. There's all these different homes. So she's the one who'd wake up, get the firewood, light the firewood. Then she would walk back to the garden. She would grab the vegetables that were there. She would walk into the chicken cage, grab the eggs that were there. Maybe she would even go and slaughter a chicken. But it was her duty to cook. And so she did that diligently as a young girl. And she did that like really, really well. And so every day morning, that's what she would wake up, she would do, get the vegetables. When she thinks back, she's like, yeah, I would get the vegetables, the terere, the pumpkin leaves. I would make squash, I'd make merengue, which is pumpkins. I would make eggs. I'm the one who would cook the food. And that's what she just did because that's what she knew. You know how sometimes when that's all you know, you just do? So this day she goes to visit her brother my uncle, who's a professor. She goes to Nairobi for the school holidays, and she goes to Nairobi. When she goes to Nairobi, in the morning, she's woken up to smell of something she has never smelled before. And as she's walking in, following the smell, she goes into the kitchen, and she sees, wow, there's some links, sausage links. And they're just being turned around. And she looks at that. Then she sees what they were being served, sausages with bread, with jam, with margarine. And in that moment, she says, this is the life I want. This is how I want to eat food. This is what I aspire to be. Because her uncle, her brother, my uncle, had made it. And so in her mind, this is what making it was. And so when she came of age, that image never left her. That's the lifestyle she started living. Sausages, bread, margarine. Margarine is one of the worst things, by the way. It's so bad that they have to add perfume to it to make it palatable for human consumption. That's the reason why it stays in the shop. It can stay in the shops for years without going bad. If it's not going bad, how good is it for us? So that's what she did. And so in 2020, as we're doing this work and we uncover that, it was such a big aha moment, because for her, she was like, what I made the decision was I never wanted to be poor. But what she didn't realize is this food she was eating is actually what made her poor. Poor in her health, poor in her body. And so she was able to make the connection as a young girl. She made a decision when she went to her brother's house, who had done really well for the family. He was the guy, professor. He's the guy who helped like all the kids. You know, there's that one child who Susan, it's you. It's you. It's you who goes ahead, and then you tell everybody this is the path to follow. So that is what she had seen. And for her, once we started really working on changing her mindset around her thinking about food, that these traditional foods are actually not the bad things. This is not the bad thing. If anything, what you've been doing, introducing foods you don't know, your body doesn't know, your DNA doesn't know, because I want you to imagine how many DNAs are within our bodies, generations of those who've gone before us. What did they eat? So even as you're eating this, you have to remember your body is so intelligent. It knows and it remembers. So we had to work on that. I mean, first of all, it was one of those, you know how someone just sits down and like, wow. Because first, you have to allow yourself grace. Just sitting with that and recognize. And what I reminded her, and I'll remind you, you were in that stage, in that moment as a young girl when you made that decision. You didn't know any better. That's what you thought it was. And it's okay. Even I've made some decisions when I was younger, and when I look back, I'm like, dang, that was dumb. And it's to give yourself grace when you recognize. It's to sit in with, whew, wow. Because a lot of us, there's what's known as cognitive dissonance in psychology, where once we understand something, we don't want to let go. I will hold on, I will fight for this. I will fight for this stance. And that's why, by the people in cults, have you ever heard about people in cults? Why people don't leave cults? It's because they cannot believe they were that dumb, so they even hold on to it for that long. So when you recognize that, pause and give yourself grace. However long it's going to take. But you now know, and this is the mind where you allow yourself to be like, okay, I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to start, and I'm willing to be kindergarten, and I'm willing to take the steps up until I figure it out. And so when I look at her story, and when I think about all the different women that I've had, a lot of what it drives our behavior, our actions, is what we believe. And so when you're thinking about changing your lifestyle and changing your body, you really need to come back to look at first, before you even go to identity, because that's now the deeper stuff. And those questions I've given you, they're just a few of many that I could give you, but those help you begin to identify where your stories came from and where they've come from. Because once you begin to unearth that and begin to understand, okay, and also grace, if there's a word I will put out there, man, grace, give yourself grace. And to also recognize even the people who've hurt you or said things, because sometimes we internalize those things, even they themselves didn't know what they were saying. Give people grace, we let go, we forgive, and we move on. So understand what your beliefs are about your body. Because once you understand that, you must begin to create a new story and create a new identity. Because out of these beliefs, out of these stories, is what has created an identity, which then has caused you to be where you are, which is gaining a lot of weight. And that's why I say, while this is good, and this is fine to work on your environment, if you don't work on who you believe you are, that's why you'll continue to struggle year after year after year. And so what I want us to do is consider the following. If you can quit diets and focus on how do I come into food freedom? What does freedom look like for you? So begin to ask yourself those questions. Like for me, it looks like eating whole foods most of the time. And what I've realized is the more I eat these foods, the more my body just becomes better. Quick story. Now, 2020, another struggle now hit me. And that was I entered perimenopause. But it took me a minute to recognize I was in perimenopause. But it started with lack of sleep. I could not sleep at night. And then I just noticed this area over here, we're beginning to store fat. You guys, I'm working out every day. 2020, when we were locked down, your girl worked out every single day. No fail. Like Celia Kusema, I worked out every day. No. I would wake up, go to the gym, work out every day. I would go to outside, walk. But then something else happened. And I was also eating well, sorry. But then I realized I wasn't sleeping. And in that moment, I was like, I think it's because of COVID, of what's happening. Okay, can we just quickly, let me segue a little bit. When COVID came out, Italy was the worst hit, yeah? Well, I remember my husband and I read it. And I always remember this story and I just laugh. And I remember telling him, just only in Italy before he came down. And so we're laying down in bed and I'm like, come out, my throat. My throat feels, even my head. Like all the symptoms I had read, I swear to God, I was manifesting them. You guys, the mind is powerful. Because I literally was. And it's like even me in my head. So both of us are there, we're like, guy, has imefika Kenya? And it took several months to come. But the mind is very powerful. And so I want us to harness the power of our mind. Harness the power of our mind. Because once you get this, you understand you control your destiny. Once you understand that, what you need there for you guys, this is what's holding most of us back. We then begin to work downwards. But most of us start here, up. But if we started here, I'm just giving the shortcut, you guys. Because me, I did the opposite. In fact, mine was it was like all over the place. But now there's a systematic system that can help you. And you guys, this is not just in your nutrition. It's going to help you in other areas of your life. So if you follow this, I promise you, once you get to understand who you are, and I want you to love yourself right now, wherever you are, however way you are. It doesn't matter what anybody or anyone has said to you. And me, I'm going to be that big sister that's going to tell you. Those friends who bring you down, shauri yako. You'll know what to do, but you must identify them. Why? These are the people who are going to determine your future. The people you surround yourself with. If there's that friend who speaks low about you, who speaks bad about you, because you have to remember, I was going to go to family next. Because sometimes family, frankly, it's the people you are with. They could be blood, but these people, you need to put proper boundaries. Because you have to remember this thing. You came here alone. When your mom was pushing you out, or however way you came, you were alone. You're going to live alone. In between there, the people you surround yourself with are the ones who truly, even when you do this work, that inner work, I'm telling you, you even know who they are. An auntie, an uncle, a cousin, usually the friends. And it's the closest people to you, not strangers. Because strangers, you have no relationship with them. So you don't know them. I mean, like, let's say scholar we've never met. You might just say, oh, there she is. She thinks she's whatever. I'm like, I don't know who she is. It doesn't matter. But if it's someone like Sharon who I've known for long,
it's going to cut deep.
Those hurt. Yeah. And that's why they say Jesus had a Judas. And why did it hurt so bad? Judas kissed him. Yeah. This is someone who was laughing. They were with them. So you must begin to, and for me, the biggest thing is to ask for discernment. to get to know who are around you. And if you don't have the strength to cut people off, figure ways to maneuver around it so that you can minimize the time you're with them. Because these people will completely affect your destiny. They truly will affect your destiny. And they will not only affect your destiny, they'll also affect how you feel about yourself. And this is what I know about us women. If you don't feel good about yourself, and I say this because I've coached many upon many upon many, they're never fully able. They know where they want, they can tell, I need to be here. But because here, and someone said, you can't do that. Or someone said, you're not good enough. Someone said, you're being too much. So they hold themselves back and are not able to actualize who God called them to be. So as you're working on your self-love, as you're working on yourself, you'll notice a majority of even what I coach my clients, a lot of what I tell them is this stuff. When the guy formed for the coaching call, someone will say, I overate yesterday. I'm like, okay, why did you overeat? But when we scroll it back, you'll notice there's a habit here. She works up until, remember there's one who works until midnight. She was working until midnight. What has happened? So now you begin to unravel. Okay, you're working until midnight because your boss has given you too much work. Oh, can you go talk to your boss? That's a boundary. Can you see this? It's a boundary issue you need to create. Then there's one who actually said, because I remember there was two in this cohort. One who said, I've just realized I'm not planning my time better. Simply a habit, just becoming aware. And out of that, you don't need to emotionally eat.